Hello, beautiful people. Trust God you are enjoying this rainy season in this part of the country, Nigeria. My name is Fola. I appreciate as many that has been subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much. And if you have not subscribed, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. So today, we'll be learning how to make a built-in high collar. Okay, let's go. And I've come with the pattern bodies. Here is the front bodies, because our concentration today is going to be on the collar part. So to make our built-in high collar neck, the first thing we are to consider is how high we want our collar to be. It can be between 1 to 2 inches. It can be 1 inch, it can be 1.5 or 2 inches. So now for this tutorial, I'll be making use of 1 inch as the height of my collar. So for that reason, I will just come up on this line. I will come up with 1 inch. Just this way. Just come up straight with 1 inch. And connect it to this very one. So the next thing you have to do is to, on this shoulder slope, just come to this side with 1 inch. This one is standard, 1 inch. But for this one, you can do 1 inch, 1.5 to 2 inches. So the next thing you have to do is to grab your French curve and connect from here to here. Yeah. So the next thing we have to do, whatever you come up with here on this, we come up with 1 inch. You will come up with exactly the same thing here. Come up with 1 inch. If you use 1.5 here, you use 1.5 here. So you mark it. Then you take your French curve again to connect from here now to this end. So another thing you are going to consider here now is that as you have 1 inch here, you will see that you are having 1 inch inside here as well. So if you come up, if the height of your collar is 1.5, you mark, let me use pencil for that area because we are not making use of 1.5. You mark 1.5 here, then you mark 1.5 here as well, 1.5, mark it here as well, then you connect it. You use your French curve to connect from this 1.5 to this 1.5. So this is it. So when you measure what you are having inside here, it will give you 1.5. You can see we're having 1.5 inside here. So this 1.5 here now has represented the 1.5 we are having here to go around your neck. So and there it is from here you will connect to this 1 inch. But we are not making use of 1.5. We are making use of 1 inch. So if you choose to use 2 inches, you will do the same thing. So it's just between the height of the collar is just between the 1 to 2 inches. So this is for the front cut. So let's just go straight to the back view of it. So this is the back view. Our zipper allowance has been considered. So the next thing we have to do is to do the same thing we do here. We are going to do it here. So on this very mark, and mind you, the wideness of your neck for this collar has to be 3 inches. 3 inches, 3 inches. Then for the depth, 3 inches for the front, but for the back, 1 inch. Just is a normal width and the depth for the collar. So here now you move up with 1 inch, just this way. So this is same thing. I connect it. So on this line, the shoulder slope you come here with 1 inch, just the way you did in the front. Then you connect it with your French cuff, just as you see me do here. So this is for the back cut. So the next thing we have to do now is to cut it out. So as I'm using normal basic body pattern, you can use the princess cut to do yours. You can use the corsets, you can use bustier. So anyhow, and you know, this is our front bodies. It is 1 inch higher than the back. That is because of the side that. See the way I'm doing my cutting. So this is your new neckline now. You can see the way I'm cutting. So you don't cut this one now. Your neck has come up with 1 inch. So that is what we will follow now. Take care of my center back to avoid the super bulge. So I want to go ahead and close my dart. You can hold your dart. If you want to hold it, just notch it at this center. But I'm closing this. I will do the same thing for my, what's that? Then for this one, I close it off. You can see I'm having something like cuff now. So this is what I will go ahead. What I will use to cut out my, fabric. I will use this to cut out my fabric, and when I'm using it to cut out the fabric, I will add half an inch to this place. I will add half an inch here as well as my seam allowance. So I will do the same thing here. I will add half an inch here. I will add half an inch here as I place it for my fabric to cut out. So you can see you don't need to, the side has been matched now as our that side, bust dart has been closed. So the side of the back and front has already equal now. So, and mind the seam allowance has been added by the side. So the only area you need to add seam allowance is by the shoulder and by the collar side. So add half an inch here, half an inch here as a joining allowance. Then you do the same thing for the back up here. Then you do it by the shoulder, following the way this curve. Ensure that you follow this curve as you are adding your half an inch. This is it. Half an inch has been added to this side, and the neckline, the shoulder and the neckline, half an inch has been added to the front bodies. It's the same thing has been done to the back. You can see how it goes. So another thing I want you to note is that ensure that you put a stay on all these, especially this neckline. Ensure that you put stay, not just the way you're supposed to have put your stay when you are doing normal collar. If you don't put stay in every other part, I don't know the fabric you are using, but ensure that you put stay in this area for Papa in the neckline area. So if you are doing normal built-in high neck collar, so with this we have done, you are good to go. But for the style we are doing on this lesson, there is a style in that front. So that is what we want to create now. And to do that, this is our 3 inches. when we were drawing when we drew our normal basic body pattern, this is where our 3 inches is. So we want to come down with 6 inches. The neckline we want to use for the style on the top neckline is 6. The depth is 6.5. We'll be using 6.5 for the depth of that style. So you mark that 6.5 just like this. So on this line where you came down with 3 inches depth in your normal basic body, so on it you come in with let me use 1 inch. It depends on how wide you want that place to be. I'll be using 1. You are good to use 1/4 or 1.5. So I'll be using 1 inch. Remember, it is on fold. By the time you open it, it gives you 2 inches. So you now take your French curve. I will now use this part of my French curve now. You know, we have been using this part. I'm going to use this part now. So, you see, yeah, this is it. So as it is, you know, it's going to meet with our high neck collar. So in that wise, this 1 inch that will come in here, we are going to do the same thing here. So which means this very, you know, curve will be extended to this head. So I will extend this my curve to this 1 inch. I will extend it up here this way. So now I give it a kind of curve here. Let me see the suitable French curve for this one. Yeah, let me use this. You can see how I curve it to meet here. So that is the way we are going to, you know, cut it out. So what I will do now is that I will first of all cut out this paper, trace out this paper so that it won't affect our half an inch. You can see the way I curve my hand here. Yeah. So the next thing you are going to do now to cut out your fabric with this pattern is that on this point where you curve your hand, you come out with half an inch. This is half an inch. So you use your French curve the same way you did here. Use it here to connect to this end. Just this way. Then you now get your seam allowance, half inch seam allowance. You get it here. And note that, you know, the depth of my neck line here is 6.5. You are good to use 7 inches. You are good to use 8 inches. It depends on how deep you want your neckline to be for this particular style. So I just choose to use so this is this dotted line is what you trace to cut out your neck now. Just follow your curve here. You can see now. See what you have now. So which means your stay that you are going to, you know, gum on your fabric must get to all this area. As a matter of fact, ensure that your stay covers all this area so that this you know, this will be firm. So as a matter, it's even better you stay everything, all your fabric first, then put a real stay, collar stay or any interfacing on this area for it to stand. So as you have cut out this, ensure that you cut out your lining the same way, and ensure that you use a matching color for your lining. So I just want to demonstrate to you how I'm going to go about joining it together now before I go to the machine. So this is the zipper allowance now. I've used pin to join it together. So we are having our back now. This is the collar at our back. This is the zipper allowance. So the way we are going to join it together now, this is the front cord. You can see our front cord. By the time we use our half an inch seam allowance, this the wideness will be increased. So the next thing we have to do is to join the shoulder. This is the shoulder part. We join the shoulder to shoulder. Let me use pin to secure it. Use half an inch. You have an inch seam allowance. I'm just using this pin as an illustration. I sew it. I join it here. I do the same thing here. This is my shoulder. I've joined it. You can see. So the second one, I mean the lining. You will do the line. All this one, we assume that this one has been properly staged in this area now. So the way you do this, you might stay your lining with a light something, you might not. So the way you join this, you are going to join your lining the same way. So thereafter, you now begin to join your lining to the fabric just the way it is. This is it. So you remove this pin, you place your you remove the pin I just use this to secure the zipper allowance. So you remove it. After joining the shoulder together, you do the same thing to the lining. So you now place your lining on the main fabric. You place it. Yes, this is what you are having. This is the collar for the back. So the lining, you place it this way. After you have joined this shoulder part, you open it and iron it very well. Do the same thing to this one. Do the same thing to the lining. Then place the lining on the main fabric and begin to join it together with half an inch, just the way it goes. You join it with half an inch, go round to the back. So after doing that, you have your results. So guys, we have gum our paper stay and the shoulder has been joined together, and I notch it, open it and iron it very well. The same thing that is done here is being done to the lining. I've joined the lining by the shoulder as well. So the next thing for me, and you see that when I'm gumming my stay, I left half an inch that I will use to join it here. So you can see this is the front view. So you can see the concept. Let me just show you the way it's going to look. This is the zipper allowance. You can see that the built-in collar is already, it's already obvious. You can see the effect already. So the next thing I will go ahead and do now, which is the final stage for this project, is I'm going to place the lining right side to right side, this way. This is the front view. You can go ahead and pin it together so that the shoulder of the lining and the fabric will match. You can pin it. Then you sew with the half an inch. You sew it. Join the lining to the fabric from the zipper, the center back. You sew it round with half an inch. Then you top stitch on the lining. So, and our built-in collar will be ready. Our built-in collar is ready. You can see how beautiful it looks with a inseam. This is the inside, lining to lining, fabric to fabric, even up to the collar level, lining to lining, fabric to fabric. Beautiful. I'm sure you have enjoyed this video. Share with your friend. Drop your comments on the comment section. I will want to receive comments on this, and subscribe to this channel, Physique Fashion House channel. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video.